know I turned it off. I know I turned it off last time. Jeez, you son of a bitch. This thing's getting really touchy. Boy.
Do you want a man for president who's seasoned through and through, but not so doggone seasoned that he won't try something new? A man who's old enough to know
and young enough to do.
Well, it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. But it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy. Do you want a man with spirit who is not afraid to fight?
A man whose record shows that he will fight for what is right.
A loyal man who brings the job a fresh new point of view. Well, it's up to you, it's up to you. It's strictly up to you. 'Cause it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy for me.
Kennedy, Kennedy, Kennedy.
And do you deny to any man the right he's guaranteed to be elected president, no matter what his creed?
It's promised in the Bill of Rights to which we must be true.
So it's up to you, it's up to you. It's strictly up to you. And it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy for me.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy.
Do you like a man who answers straight, a man who's always fair? We'll measure him against the others, and when you compare, you cast your vote for Kennedy, and the change that's overdue. So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you. Yes, it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy for me. Kennedy, 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 Kennedy,
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I remembered to put the microphone in front of my face, which is pretty good for the radio guy to do, huh? It's nice when you remember how to do things the right way. Hey, look, you know one of the mottos of the program, even occasionally, even a blind squirrel finds a nut. Welcome, welcome, welcome from my humble second bedroom here in the Saucon Valley, part of the Lehigh Valley, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, part of these United States. North American continent, Western Hemisphere, on this planet Earth. The only one we have. Third rock from the sun. In the Terran solar system, part of the Milky Way galaxy, this is the Kennedy Effect live with you for the, oh goodness, the 12th. Wow, sorry. 12. Oh my goodness, wowee. Frank Ramp, the 12th of December 2024. It has been a very, very long day. I continue to, I think I've come out on the other side of this cold. It's still bothering me. But I think I'm on the other end of it. I hope. But yeah, I mean that's the plan. We hope. I am having a tremendous amount of difficulty tonight sharing my own stuff to my own folks. Not quite sure what the problem is. Other than, hey, it's it's just one of those days. I guess I'm just fighting with it all. It's all right. It happens. I mean, it just is one of those things. These are, 21st century problems. Let's be very blunt. They're not, certainly not the end of the world. That's for darn sure. It's just annoying sometimes. One of the annoying things about I told you I still had a little bit of this cold. That's annoying about Facebook. I guess I'm going to vent here for a second, be a little selfish and vent here very quickly. Is that it never seems to be the same twice. That's the problem. I never, something that I do on Tuesday doesn't seem to work on Thursday, which then doesn't work on Sunday, which then doesn't work on the following Tuesday. And that things just seem to be different every time I come in here and every time I log on and every time I do something. And that's That's pretty annoying. But again, these are very first world problems. I have a roof over my head. I had food for dinner tonight. Nothing extraordinary, but it was warm and it was filling and it will sustain me. And that's good enough, which is more than a lot of people have. And by the way, I don't always think that that's fair enough of a context. I think that's something our parents always told us when we were little, when we were really ticked off about something. What do you mean I can't go to the park? There's a lot of kids who wish they could go to the park. Well, Mom, I hate this shirt. There's a lot of kids who would kill for a shirt like that. Probably, yes. I'm not one of them. So that's the end of that. But I mean, they are very first world problems. And I guess in context, it sounds very selfish and so on. But just to be honest, it is annoying that we do what we try to do here. And we try to bring you, the best program that we can, the most informative program that we can, the most entertaining program that we can, because let's be honest, if it wasn't, you wouldn't watch and you wouldn't listen, and I don't blame you. It's kind of how it should be. So that every time when I come in here, you would think there would be like a routine set of steps for me to go through, but it just doesn't seem to work that way. So anyway, welcome and thank you for being here to the Kennedy Effect TKE tonight, by the way, for the 12th of December, 2024, a Thursday, a very cold Thursday here in the Lehigh Valley. The winter has again grabbed hold of us rather thoroughly. It is really genuinely chilly outside. You are listening and are watching us right now, or you can be live, he said, with emphasis, live on the Facebook pages of Our Revolution Pennsylvania. I can't seem to get to TCP Media Group tonight. I don't know if their page disappeared or if Facebook is just having a night. It's just being crampy. The we are live on Our Revolution Pennsylvania. Ghost Claw Productions. My Facebook, Jeff Kennedy. My name's right there on the bottom left-hand corner. And, of course, our home group Facebook page for all things surrounding the Kennedy Effect. That Other Side of Information. Our Facebook group, also the name of our YouTube channel, That Other Side of Information. And, oh, by the way, we're live there right now as well. That Other Side of Information on YouTube. Great place to catch up on any of our older programs. I can certainly understand watching a program of ours from maybe some random Sunday in March from 3 years ago might be kind of silly. As obviously most of the topics are outdated and so on. The history is not. But if for some reason you would ever want to catch up on all of our programs, everything that George and I have ever recorded is there. That Other Side of Information on YouTube. It's a library of everything we've ever done. And we invite you to go there and check it out. That Other Side of Information on YouTube. We're also live on Twitch. Jeff put the R in the middle. R like Robert. Jeff R. Kennedy. And we are live on LinkedIn at Jeff Kennedy as well. The audio of the program, of course, blasting around the globe. 4 months and growing, but who's counting? GCPR.live, GCPR.live, Ghost Claw Productions Radio.live, GCPR.live. Go to our website, check everything out there. I could tell you everything that's there, but you should go there and you should see it. Schedule, bios of the show hosts, synopses of the shows. It's a really neat website. It's super easy to use. It's all in tiles. Just tap on it and everything's there. And I think you should be doing that. And in fact, I should be doing that. Oh, Superflex Party is up after us. So then Yes. See how my brain works? I generally tend to work out a routine. I tend to be a pretty routine guy. And I work out a routine for the most part of what tend to be a logical set of steps, but it doesn't always come out that way. Following us immediately on GCPR from 9 p.m., Superplex Party, Conversations with T. Nathan from 11. And Thomas returns with Flag on the Play Friday to close out your broadcast week from 8 a.m. Tomorrow, we return on Sunday. That's the plan, anyway, the plan. I always say scheduled because you just never know what's going to happen. I could have power problems. I could have hardware, software problems. I could just get sick again. We are scheduled to be back with you again on Sunday for a big 3-hour program from 6 p.m. on Sunday. I do want to throw out one quick and I'll try to take your calls. If you want to jump on in, go for it. 267-227-9189. 267-227-9189. 267-227-9189. 267-227-9189. Hello to Randall and Donna. And I think that's it. I know there's more numbers there watching than that, but those are the only names that I've seen pop up. So to my regulars there, thank you all. Thank you both, at the moment, both, for being there. It does mean a lot. I wish I was this goofy from the cough medicine, but the bottom line is I'm so exhausted I can't stand it. One quick note. A little bit of a programming note here, if you wouldn't mind, especially to our most regular and loyal listeners. You've noticed in recent programs that George has not been here. And when he is here, he is like in stop motion. He's frozen, then he moves super, super quick, then it freezes, then it goes black, then he comes back, then we're still not 100% sure whether that's George or me as far as the computer's concerned. Is that his computer or is it mine? We're not 100% sure. So honestly, although I would like to have some people, and some people have expressed interest to me in coming on the program before the holidays, I don't know if I can even have guests because I just don't know if it'll work. I really wanted to get Pastor Best on probably Sunday the 22nd because that's our last show until into January. But I got to be honest, I don't know. I don't know if we can actually handle a guest at this point. This computer just continues to degrade. And it is a very interesting thing to watch because I'm not a computer person, really, per se. I'm not tech illiterate by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm not a computer person. Not like George, not like Gilbert. George can build computers. Gilbert can program any kind of computer. Neither of those skills is mine. But I'm not illiterate to how they work. A computer basically does what you tell it to do. So I'm always fascinated that on a certain Tuesday when I come up here to do something, the computer will do one thing, and then on Thursday it does something completely different. And it doesn't do anything anymore. Or it doesn't perform this function anymore when I haven't touched it, when I haven't done anything to it to change anything. It just continues to be a thing for me. But we do think we have a solution, but we're not going to be able to do it until after the new year. So I don't know if we're going to be able to have guests again until after the new year. That means Sunday shows might be a little shorter, but it also means for you at home, your opportunity to put comments and questions and drive this conversation. If I have picked a topic that you just think is boring beyond sin, well, then put something in the chat. Ask me a question, for God's sake. I beg you. I went to school to teach. I originally went to college to be a teacher. I have always felt that I am my best when I was a candidate, as a public speaker, as a radio host, as a TV presenter, um, in my time in sales and customer service, my, my, my time in management. I've always felt that I am at my best when people on the other side of me, so to speak, either standing in front of me, sitting in front of me. I've even done some rooms that are in a circle where I've been in the center. When they're asking me questions and I am responding to them, they are driving the conversation at that point. Educationally, are actually statistical evidence that educational outcomes are better when the educational process is driven by the student, or in this case, it would be the questioner. Because generally, if people are interested enough in a topic to ask a question about it, they're certainly going to listen to the answer. And it means, and they want to know the answer. And if they're the ones that actually ask the questions, you're darn right they're going to pay attention to the answer, because they want their question answered. So if you have questions, and it doesn't have to be about what we're talking about on any given night, ask me. If they're completely out of left field, I might just casually not read it. Honestly, I'm just being honest with you. But if it's a serious, or even semi-serious, or even what's the best movie you saw lately question, I'm in. Put it in. That's what we're here for. You're all sick. Randall's gonna, if I could give Randall a dime for every time I've said some of these cliches, he'd be a really, really wealthy man. I love NPR. NPR is a little lectury. It's a little lectury. It's a little speaking at you, not with you. And I've never, ever, ever wanted that for this show. Never. I have always wanted to speak with you. So please, let's talk to each other. And I think from now pretty much till the middle of January, I don't expect many, if any, guests. So, because I'm not sure technologically I can have them. I'm probably not going to find out until I invite somebody and it either works or it doesn't. But that's all of that said. It's your program too. My name's on it, but it's your program. So comments, questions, all of it, and your phone calls, 267-227-9189, 267-227-9189. Two big topics that I picked out for tonight. And occasionally, if you hear me do something goofy with my speech, I bit the left side of my tongue the other night so hard. I don't know, man. I am clumsy. That's all I can say. The older I have gotten, the more clumsy I have become. And I bit down on the back of my tongue, like right around there. And, oh, gosh. It's actually swollen, and it's getting in between the way, and I already have a bit of a lisp. What a shocker. I know that really surprises me. If you listen at all, I have a lisp. It's pretty pronounced. But it's only making it worse. So I hope you'll be patient with me, but I am going to guess. Wait, if I guess who it is, the person, watch, this will be the last phone call I ever get. If I guess who it is that's calling me right now, the person that is calling me must buy me a brand new computer. Randall!
Yeah.
All right, good. You get to buy me a computer. How are you, sir?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I know.
Go ahead, my friend. What do you have? I saw that you put a comment and a question. Oh, God. I'm mixing up all my words. I saw you put a comment in a chat about one of the topics I wanted to get to, but I will let you talk about it first, and then you and I can talk about it together. So go ahead, sir.
Well, no offense. I don't think that is really a top topic to discuss tonight, Kari Lake. But yeah, she's a loser.
I'll tell you why I brought it up. I'll tell you why I brought it up. Radio is near and dear to my heart. The Voice of America goes back to World War II. Voice of America has been a fully government-sponsored broadcast outlet that has a rich and storied history by broadcasting the stories and news, unbiased, bipartisan, nonpartisan news around the globe for, I think Voice of America was started pretty early on in World War II, if I'm not mistaken. So it would have been.
It wasn't. It was not started in World War II. I think it was started in 1948 when the Cold War began with the Soviet Union.
But it has broadcast.
And that's why it's called the Voice of America.
This broadcast news, unbiased, nonpartisan news. It has broadcast stories of people about the ideals of self-determination, small d democracy, regulated New Deal capitalism, not the capitalism that we're all suffering under now, but highly regulated New Deal, what has become Western European capitalism. It has never been the solitary purview or the solitary publicity machine for any given American administration. Now, Kari Lake actually made her fame before she became a national figure. She was a television news anchor in Arizona.
Yep.
And my guess is that's in addition to being a rather vocal, vociferous, public Trump 110% Trump loyalist, the fact that she has some sort of broadcasting background probably, and she needed a job. And, what do you do in Republican administrations other than give people jobs? She needed a job. So she's going to take over as the head of Voice of America, and she's already promised to use the outlet to promote the Trump administration. It's never been done before. This is a radio service that broadcasts into East Berlin and behind the Iron Curtain. And while it certainly did not end the Cold War prematurely, it did provide, if people behind the Iron Curtain were able to get it on radio, and a lot of them could, if it couldn't be jammed or blocked by Soviet forces, and they could not always do that, it provided balance and truth and news to what the propaganda they were being told behind the Iron Curtain. Now, of course, the Soviets felt the same way about them broadcasting into Western Europe. Okay, they felt the same way. History has proven that what we were broadcasting was much more correct. But that said, it's going to be a shame to see this wonderful, wonderful service that the United States has maintained for decades as nothing other than as purely nonprofit, whose only mission was to purvey truth. And it's going to be a shame to watch what it's going to turn into. And that's going to be, I fully expect, yet another propaganda arm for this second Trump regime. So and as someone who's been in radio literally since I was, when did I start radio? 15, I think I was, when I first did live radio. Yeah, 15. I think I was 15 years old when I started doing live on-the-air radio. Terrestrial radio, good old-fashioned AM radio. It hurts a little bit to see something so hallowed, if you will, that's going to be bastardized to such a what I expect will be a terrible, terrible extent. But anyway, I can understand why you may not see it as a big story, and that's great. We're built on different opinions. Nothing wrong with that. But that's why I brought it up. So you go ahead and take over. It's your phone call. I stole it from you here for a bit, but you go ahead.
No, I think the biggest story today is absolutely the total flash of truth that come January 20th, we're going to be an oligarchy. When Musk is outright threatening every Republican senator that if they do not 100% support every one that Trump wants in his administration to be approved by the Senate. That's blackmail, pure and simple, by the oligarchy. Musk obviously believes that he controls the government now with his purse string. So
Randall, if you were Musk, wouldn't you feel that way? I would.
No.
Oh, I would. I bought most of it. I bought the presidency. I bought the Senate, and I helped maintain. My money helped maintain the House. I bought Twitter for the express purpose to get some of these loons elected and to purvey some of this complete, total false information. I have the Starlink switches at my command. I can turn off. President Xi of China calls me and says, hey, could you please turn off Starlink over Taiwan? It's helping them defend themselves. Oh, sure. How much money you got? Turn that switch off. Turn Starlink off over Ukraine. If I was him, I would think I control everything because I already know I own it. And generally speaking, you have control over the things that you own. So if I was him, I bloody well would think that I control everything. I've seen very little evidence that he doesn't.
Until you become a full-out dictatorship like Putin in Russia. Putin took down much richer oligarchies than him himself is.
True, but we don't have the. We don't try.
If J.C. Vance gets in, trust me, it will be like that.
Right,
J.C.
Vance has no core beliefs of his own. He has what he's been paid to believe.
J.C. Vance is 1,000 times smarter than Trump is, and 1,000 times more want to be dictator that it has the power will be dictator.
I also think he has no interest in. I think he also has a lot less of an ego, and I think he just wants to be rich. I don't think he wants to work too damn hard either. I don't think Mr. Vance is terribly concerned with the cameras and the notoriety and the airtime that Trump is, and maybe that makes him even more ruthless. I don't honestly know. I can only imagine how ruthless and scary Stephen Miller would be if he really wanted to be on Fox News every 10 minutes, like Bannon or Roger Stone. Stephen Miller's already a pretty scary dude. He's talked genocide, for God's sake. But we're splitting hairs here. I mean, we're talking about a bell curve, really grading on a scale here. I mean, not a lot of breath between points A and B here.
No, there isn't.
What else? What else you got, sir?
Well, getting back, United Healthcare's new CEO came out, And, it's already been proven to everyone, anyone that's smart enough to read anything, that, of all the health insurance companies in America, which are consolidated really down to just 5 in the whole industry now, that their denial rate is the highest, 32% denial rate. That millions of people have probably died because of the denials over the decades. That United Healthcare has grown and absorbed and grown, absorbed and absorbed and absorbed more and more other integrated vertical healthcare. I mean, they vertically integrated pharmacies, they pharmaceutical companies, they vertically integrated physicians associations and hospitals. I just, I like how it was. I like how it was said on by Thomas Bishop on his morning program 2 days ago. I just feel indifferent to the CEO being whacked. I feel totally indifferent because I know that he was indifferent to millions of Americans and their health concerns and health problems. So why shouldn't I feel indifferent for him getting whacked? Am I glad he got whacked? No, but I'm totally indifferent to it. Doesn't faze me one bit. As it does a lot of people. The ones I see getting fazed are politicians, big politicians.
Mm-hmm.
And
as they should, by the way.
What, not to feel indifferent instead of, oh my God, we got a murderer.
No, I think, no, exactly the opposite. I think if I was Jamie Dimon, if I was Bob Iger, if I was Ted Cruz and Rona McDaniel and a lot of these folks all the way across the board, if I was Musk, and you already know, by the way, if you've ever seen enough pictures of Musk, he's got some pretty robust security around him already. I'd be worried. I'd be worried because I don't think this was but I think a lot of America feels the way you do, truly, and I think on both sides of the aisle, to be honest. And I think that's what.
No, it is both the left and right. I got friends that voted for Trump, and they feel the same way about this whole issue because they've been ripped off like all of us have. You know, when HMO started back in the 70s, and employers are pushing to go to HMOs, it was a beautiful thing. There was no problem getting treatments. But over the decades since the 1970s, what have they added? When it started, HMOs, it was like 8 physicians to 1 coder. And today it's like 9 coders to 1 physician. You follow me?
Well, I mean, it's profit, isn't it?
When I say coders are the ones that this is the code, this is what you're getting, and this is what you're not getting.
Right. Most of that, by the way, has been
8 primary doctors to 1 coder in 1975 when HMO started. And today it's 9 coders to 1 primary care doctor in America.
Actually, United Health does most of its coding with artificial intelligence because even the human coders within the opinion of the powers that be thought they were letting too many expenses quote unquote unnecessary.
Right. Now they're using AI, but
They're now using artificial intelligence.
yeah,
And
AI.
claim denials are up. Let's remember the basics of the quote unquote health insurance industry, which is nothing of the sort. They're banks. They are banks. That's all they are. They're casinos. They're banks. In fact, I think casinos might be a better way to do it. They shroud themselves in white lab coats, but they're casinos. They take in money. They try not to let any go out. And that's how they make money. They take in massive amounts. They let much lower amounts go back out. The rest of it is profit. The less money that goes out, the more profit they make, period. That's that, period. Done.
Yep.
It's nothing more complicated than that. We're the only country on earth of the so-called first world nations. And we could probably spend another series of programs on the definition of what is and isn't a first world country. But of the so-called OECD, first world, Western industrialized, fill in the blank here, countries, we're the only one with a system like this. We're the only ones. We pay more than nearly 1/5 of the entire gross domestic product of the United States, which is about $32 trillion. Yeah, about 32, $33 trillion. So 1/5 would be $6+ trillion a year just on healthcare. And yet we have the highest maternal mortality rate. We by far have the highest, and that maternal mortality rate is even higher for women of color. The highest for black women. Our life expectancy is actually decreasing. Unless you're in the top 1% economically, then it's actually growing. We have the highest infant mortality rate. We have the highest obesity, highest percentage with diabetes, highest cancer rates, which actually partially speaks to the way we feed ourselves and the way we take care of our environment. All of this for $6+ trillion a year. Trillions. And that's all we get out of it? If it was any other business, they would have gone out of business by now. Imagine going to your favorite local restaurant and buying the special. I'm getting older now. And buying the special. The appetizer, the main meal, and a dessert. And it's $30. And I know that might sound like a lot, but folks, to be honest with you, that's not a lot really for dinner right now. Maybe you're lucky. Maybe it's only $20, depending on what it is, right? Unless it's, it might be something that isn't as expensive to make. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, it's $30. You get an app, soup, salad, main plate, and dessert. $30. And then there's a little change in the policy. You don't get salad with it anymore. But it's still $30. You could add a salad for an extra buck, but it doesn't come free anymore. Then, instead of a bowl of soup, it turns into a cup of soup. Then it goes from a 12-inch dinner plate to a 10-inch to a 9-inch, an 8-inch. But the prices only ever go up. Maybe a better analogy is the car wash. And I know I'm gonna make you all kind of think, where the hell is he going with this one? A lot of the car washes by me all try to sell me that monthly wash club thing. I can get unlimited washes for $20 a month. And it all sounds pretty darn good, except for the fact that I don't even go once a month. So it would actually cost me money. But that's beside the point. Plus, I have a Jeep. They're supposed to be dirty. It's what God created them. But that said, imagine I think of that $20 a month as my premium. And when I sign up, it's unlimited. I can come in as many times as I can go every day if I feel like it. So maybe I do. Maybe I go every day. And then they say, oh, you can't do that. Yeah, but I signed up for it. Yeah, but it also says we can change the terms anytime we feel like it. Or you can keep coming every day, but we're going to double the rate. So then they double the rate. And then they still tell me I can't come. Or worse, they put somebody out at the curb who looks over my car and says, it's not dirty enough. You don't deserve a car wash. To which I say, but I'm paying for it. To which they say, for all intent and purpose, tough shit. Because where else are you going to get it? When you are sick, and I mean simple sorts of sickness, from things like kidney stone, you break a bone, things like that, all the way to the most serious types of cancer. Where are you going to go? You have to go to a doctor. You have to go to a medical facility. That's where the medical expertise is. And the people who are doing those jobs overwhelmingly are not there to get rich, and they're not there for notoriety. They are there to help and to aid and to comfort and to cure. But it's not like I can just blow off, I don't like McDonald's, so I'll go to Burger King. I don't like that, so I'll go to Wendy's. I don't like that, so I'll go here. I don't like that, so I'll go here. When you're sick, there's only so many places you can go. And then when the company that has been tasked with taking millions of our premiums, putting it into a big pot to pay for the things that we can't afford ourselves. The premise of these companies is actually very socialistic. It's socialism. We all put in a little bit, and when one of us needs some of that money, we take out of the pot. And then they get well, they put back in until a time when maybe we need to take out of the pot, and then we take out. Except the people are putting a lid on a pot, and they're taking the money for themselves. And the business model, just think of the language of that. The business model of healing people. Are you shitting me? The business model of these casinos is bring the money in, lock it away, let people die. Because treatment's expensive.
Yep.
Where am I wrong there, do you think, sir, if anywhere?
Oh, I don't think you're wrong at all, Jeff, on that point of view. I just, I just, I read an article last week about a small hospital conglomerate in Texas that has
small conglomerate.
I couldn't think of the right word, but half of their hospitals are in rural Texas.
And not for much longer.
Well, no, that's what I'm getting to. They've decided they will not accept any Medicare Advantage plan. They will obviously accept any traditional Medicare patient, but they will not accept any patients because of the BS runaround on payment to the hospitals. That sometimes it takes a year that they've been eating the money of unpaid bills before a Medicare Advantage plan says, "Oh, we're not paying." Period. So they hospitals. I have a problem with for-profit hospitals down here in southeast Denver, Delaware County. We've got what was the largest nonprofit at one time hospital, Crozier Chester Medical Center, that expanded and went for profit, and then they were bought by a hedge fund billionaire out in California, and he's just sucked it dry instead of investing any money into it. And doctors have left and right. Anesthesiologists have just left. Oh yeah, and that's a whole other thing. Traditionally, a doctor was paying at minimum 25% of whatever his income or her income was. Let's say it was $120,000 back, not that many years ago. They were paying 25% for insurance for malpractice. Well, some medical professions, like anesthesiology now, it's like 150%. Anesthesiologists are just leaving left and right, and nobody's studying that type of medical doctor in the medical schools here in the Philadelphia area anymore. And there's others that are like that. OBG, same thing. They're not, those medical specialties are not growing. They're decreasing because of insurance rates. That's the biggest problem in America, insurance.
Well, biggest problem in America, Citizens United, but the biggest problem in America, health-wise, are these casinos.
It's just that, you can't. You live in Florida, man. You can't afford flood insurance anymore. I can go down a list. You pay $2,500 a year for one car insurance.
No, well, I mean, there are places in Florida that even federal flood insurance is becoming difficult to get, and I have to admit, honestly, I do think the federal government did it in Jersey. That there were just places after Sandy that they refused to rebuild. Just told folks that we're not going to help you rebuild here because it's too flood prone. It's climate change. We can't. There was a story in. Now I'm going to forget where I saw it, and it was days ago too, so I'm not going to be able to find it. And folks, you know how I am when I'm trying to do things on the internet while I'm broadcasting to you. It'll be radio silence while I try to find it, which is the most boring thing on the planet. And then, by the way, if I was on the other end of it and the person talking to me went silent, I'd turn over too. But there's a beach town in Jersey, shore town. They're not beaches in Jersey, by the way. It's the shore. I can tell you. Can you tell I've been away from it for too long? That has literally given up on its beach remediation because it simply costs too much. And every time they do it, it washes away. And so they've given up. And they've told the people who live closest to the water, we can't do anything for you anymore. You probably want to think about either deconstructing your homes and moving them inland or raising them even higher. Some of them are already, 10, 13, 15 feet or higher on stilts off the ground. But then if the sand washes away underneath you, it doesn't necessarily much matter because it's going to collapse anyway. But, here's a town in New Jersey. This is not some remote atoll in the South Pacific that is literally succumbing to the water because of the rise of the Pacific Ocean. This is right here. For those of you who might be local, and I consider Randall to be local, he's not that far away. He knows where I am. I know what he knows. He knows, sure as hell knows where the Jersey Shore is. Here's a town that said, you know what, we're out. We're done. We can't fight this anymore. And kind of drifting to all, and so no one wants to ensure these things anymore. And I can almost understand it. And you're going to see a lot more of that. You're going to see a lot more of that. But then again, here's the hypocrisy from the right, because they love when, quote unquote, the free market makes decisions. Well, the free market's making a decision. And it's saying that you can't live on top of the ocean anymore because we're sick of rebuilding your home every 10 minutes.
And you got Trump today that said he's going to put in Secretary of Energy is a total climate denier, is a former executive of an oil company. Yeah, let's just make it worse and worse and worse, Trump. And all your minions make this worse and that worse and this worse and that worse. Anyway, it's almost 9 o'clock, so I'm going to let you go so you can sign off. Okay?
Well, thanks for being part of the program, my friend. You take care of yourself. We'll talk on Sunday.
You got it. Bye.
I mean, look, it's hard sometimes to stay positive in almost any way. It's hard to see light at the end of the tunnel. If you've been with me every show since Election Day, you know that we've had a couple rocky moments here on the program where I was ready to pack it up. Time to go home. time to take my ball and go home. Yeah, we've talked about moving to different states. We've talked about moving to different countries. But but I think slow but sure. And by the way, I really think by summer of 2025, we're going to know how bad it's going to get. I do think this second Trump incarnation is going to be in that way. I think it's going to be very similar to the first. And sadly, I think a lot of modern presidencies have become that way, where it's just a ridiculous flurry of action in the first 6 months, and then everything kind of tails off from there. And I think this one will be no different, because let's just be honest, the only plan is another $6 trillion in tax cuts for the top 1%. And Project 2025. A lot of that is not anything that you're going to see in the news, which is a damnation of our media. We'll talk about it here. You'll hear about it on GCPR. You'll hear about it on America One. You'll hear about it on PDX. You'll hear about it with Tom Hartman and Stephanie Miller and Randy Rhodes There'll be places, Amy Goodman. If you're not watching Amy Goodman, by the way, Free Speech TV, I'm a big fan. But you're not going to see it on the mainstream. You're not going to see it on the cable news networks. You're not going to see it on the big three networks. Four, I guess, networks. Project 2025 isn't going to destroy government overnight. It's meant to destroy it quietly over the 4 years of the administration. But make no doubt that that's what the plan is. But I've told, Kristen and I have talked about it. It's by next summer we're going to have to really, because I think we'll have a very, very, very good idea of what to do. Can we stick it out simply? Can we stick it out where we are? Do we need to move to a blue state? Or do we seriously need to think about another country? And I don't have the answer to that yet, but here's what I can tell you. I'll be here, and I hope that you will be there. And it's great to see Dr. Josia in here. Our broadcast schedules did not match up tonight. She and I need to get together and share some airtime as we've done in the past. Hearty hello to Anita. Sorry you came in late, Anita. Please come back and see us. That's about all the time that we have for tonight. For everyone let me tell you what's happening. Coming up right after us on GCPR is Superplex Party. Right after us at 9 o'clock, Superplex Party. Coming up at from 11 p.m., Conversations with T. Nathan. Thomas returns with Flag on the Play Friday tomorrow morning from 8 a.m. For everyone at GCPR, for everyone that surrounds TKE tonight and the Kennedy Effect, that's George and Lynn, Kristen Daisy the Dog, and me, of course, I'm Jeff Kennedy, and April Riddick. We return on Sunday from 6 p.m. We look forward to seeing you then again. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other. Superplex Party starts right now.